So moving forward towards the agenda, that is documentary on women and welcome address by our esteemed Pro Vice
Vice
Chancellor.
Chancellor, sir.
Yeah. Then there are video bites by students. Then there'll be panel discussion by our panelists. Then interactive session and students' performance, and the ultimate thing, that is appreciation. A documentary, a very short documentary on women.
A warm welcome once again, Anita ji and Smita ji. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. I was going through your profile and I was so impressed the kind of pedigree that you have in your domain in the arts, culture, literature, poetry, and whatnot. So I'm so happy that we have experts like you here today, ma'am. And this day is very special, not only for us but for everyone, no doubt. But for us, it becomes even more important because our Department of Language and Linguistics, and I believe all the arts, culture related activities are led by very able women leaders. And I'm very proud about that fact. They all are leading their respective departments very well. Everyone in the department follows what they do. They are the trendsetter. They have very creative mindset, and organization of this event on this important day is the hallmark of their expertise and their thought process. So congratulations once again, Dr. Deepa, Dr. Parul, for organizing such a wonderful event on a very thought-provoking topic on a day. So we are going to talk about women in leadership.
Women at workplace, sir.
Women in
Workplace, and which also happens to be the aligned theme for this year, as I understand, because we are
Yes,
talking
sir.
about women in leadership, and we are talking about the equality in the boardroom. Also, we are talking about. I come from business management background, and we definitely see in the world of business also there is quite contrast. I mean, when we talk about taking up of senior positions by women. So still we don't find that kind of equality which is there. Academics or education, I feel as a sector or as an industry is blessed that we have so many women leading from the front. But when it comes to the boardroom composition, when we are talking about directors of the companies or the organizations, there are several other sectors where still we are looking forward to a greater participation and involvement of women. So there's no doubt to the fact that there is no a dearth of expertise as far as those domains or areas are concerned, but maybe it is the mindset not only of the society in general or the corporate world in general, but I must say here that of women also, which has to change, and they need to take it up as a challenge to have that proper representation at all levels. And I'm sure once they make up their mind that yes, we are going to do this, no one can stop that progress and that kind of a participation. So that is going to happen. In fact, I believe that this day is not to talk about the equality, it is not to talk about empowerment also, because I believe women are equal, women are equally empowered, and no doubt they are competent. It is only the change in mindset which is required by some people, right? Where
Yes.
they also start promoting them, they also start encouraging them, and they are there to take up all the challenges. So we have great experience in education sector, where we had even HRD minister as a woman and leading the academic ministry. We now call it as Ministry of Education rather than Human Resource Development, and that also has a meaning, because ultimately, education helps to develop human beings or human resources at all levels. So that is the core, that is the base of all growth and development that one can have. And when women have made their mark in the education so well, why not all other sectors benefit with their expertise, with their aesthetic mindset, with their their creativity, right? And that is what probably we will be talking about today in this session. I'm so eager to listen to both the experts. I must admit I am not an expert in this domain to talk about that, but as an organization leader, as a colleague, I'm so happy to share that I had wonderful experience with all my colleagues wherever I have worked and had a women leader leading a particular department or a particular school. So I'm so happy about it. And let's listen from both the experts today that what they have to share about their life experiences, and I'm sure it will benefit our students a lot. Thank you so much, Dr. Deepa Chakravarti.
I am a woman, and I'm not going to talk about feminism on International Women's Day. Why? Because feminism nowadays is treated as men hating, is explained as men hating, but stop. No, feminism does not mean men hating. Let me emphasize that celebrating Women's Day is actually a tribute to women's contribution and not for men hatred. Bringing women empowerment, bringing gender equality are in the hands of men and a woman. And a man is putting his efforts equally. Focus. Female has a male in it, and SH she has he in it. So we can't move alone. We can't hate men. We both are complementary. We both are equal.
Your support will help us to reach our destination a little early.
Afternoon, everyone. I am Nikita Salaria from BTech CSE 4th Sem. Today, I am going to talk on a very sensitive issue, which is, of course, considered not so sensitive. Men. Today, I am going to talk about those feelings that go unheard, unattended, quite oftenly in our so-called caring society. If they shed tears, we are like, OMG, is he even a man? If they don't, then we are like, oh, what a pathetic and a stone-hearted man he is. I have seen strong men crying. I have seen weak men being strong and standing for their families. I have seen my father doing both. I have seen my brother doing both. Not all men are same, and we should break the stereotype as the growing society. And at the end, I would like to say that if we as the women ask the society to be non-partial and to consider us equally strong as men, then we should allow men to feel equally about their feelings, emotions, and themselves.
So this is a panel discussion, and as I will be welcoming all of you. In fact, sir didn't get the opportunity to talk about Amity University. Amity University is a really big universe, having an extremely competent leadership team, and I can assure you that there is no discrimination of men, women at the leadership role. And that is maybe one of the reasons why I could sustain myself in this position for the last 11 years. So my heartfelt thanks to Amity leadership. In fact, this is a big universe having 13 universities in India with 17 abroad, 7,000 professors and 170,000 students. So this is Amity, and it is growing because of its ethics, its idealism, and its mission to empower both men and women. So I express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to our leadership team, particularly to Professor Amit Jain sir, who is always at the back of whatever we are doing, supporting us and helping us see our dreams fulfilled. It is due to this that today Amity School of Languages could become a star department with UG and PG programs in English and French. And just to tell you that even in PhD programs, we have now 30 students doing PhD in French, English, and also in Spanish. The department is growing with the active support of the leadership team, as I told you. And we expect that this will be always with us, and with their blessings, we will be doing good. And that's a promise on my part and on behalf of my team. Okay, so that will bring us to the topic. I welcome everyone, every participant of today's event. A very happy Women's Day to all once again. And I would like to shift my focus on the panel discussion. The topic of the discussion is women at workplace. Today we talk on women at workplace, which is actually very relevant for several reasons. Today we talk on women at workplace, which is a very relevant topic for several reasons. The first thing I would like to tell you is that our students are at the undergraduate level, at the postgraduate level, or even at the doctoral level, and they are yet to join work. So they need to understand the challenges that this can be to them if they do not have the right kind of behavior towards their colleagues. So it's very important. It's a very relevant topic on which our expert speakers from outside will be deliberate. I'm just beginning the dialogue, they will carry it forward. Now, particularly for our UG students who are going for a job, you need to remember that you are no longer in the protected home isolation, but in public space where whatever you say, do, or even in the manner in which you see your colleague, may matter and may be questioned. One example, and a pertinent one, is the circular sent to all employees of Netflix very recently, and it's an outcome of the Me Too movement. Now, it bans crew members from looking at each other for longer than 5 seconds. Okay, both men and women. You cannot look at each other for longer than 5 seconds, and that can lead to a penalty. Now, isn't that scary? So we need to first understand what is the definition of sexual harassment. As I told you, there is not just first, I will draw our students and participants' attention to what is sexual harassment. Now, this I have taken from internet. So sexual harassment includes such unwelcome sexually determined behavior. Okay, you can read it: physical contact, advances, requests for sexual favor, sexually colored remarks, showing pornography. And something which is very important, I have highlighted with a different color. You can all read, right? Creation of a hostile work environment through unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature may consist not of a single act, but of a pattern of behavior comprising many such acts. So, that is, in a nutshell, the key idea is to create an amiable work environment and avoid any unwelcome sexually determined behavior. So for quite a while, these women issues never surfaced for fear of social stigma, defamation, or termination of job, etc., until and unless this actually created a public fury, like in the case of Bhanwari Devi, a low-caste grassroots government worker gang raped by the higher caste Gujjar neighbors as she tried to prevent a child marriage in the higher caste community. Now, who was this Banwari Devi? Banwari Devi worked as a Sati worker along with Women Development Group in Rajasthan, and her work was to go door to door, sensitizing villagers against social ills such as child marriage, family planning, infanticide, and dowry. Banwari Devi went public with her complaint. Mind you, it was way back in 1996, I'm talking of this. A person who has hardly have any education. Now, this is one of the unsung heroines of the women's movement we should really recognize. Now, she went public with her complaint, but got no justice from Rajasthan High Court, and the rapists were allowed to go free. Afterwards, a female rights group called Vishakha filed a PIL, a public interest litigation, in the Supreme Court of India. The women rights group won, and the Vishakha guidelines were stipulated in 1997. So I'd like to once again show you this Vishakha guidelines. Now, these are the guidelines that were laid out in 1997. All workplaces should have an appropriate complaints mechanism with a complaints committee, special counselor, or other support services. Okay, so these are very clear guidelines that all the corporate and academic bodies are now following. Now, what is more important, and I'd like to highlight these last 2 points: confidentiality must be maintained, and complainants should not experience victimization or discrimination during the process. And the last slide, you can see this Vishakha guidelines in 1997 that was finally taking the shape. It was superseded in 2013, and we have the promulgation of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act in 2013. So you can see aggrieved women working, visiting a workplace, or it can be even a student. Okay. So all the corporate and the academic bodies are to follow these guidelines. In 2013, finally, we find the passing of Sexual Harassment Act, Sexual Harassment of Women and at Workplace Act came out. Now, we also need to talk about another important women's movement that you may all know, and our expert panelists will also throw light on this. This is the Me Too movement that started in the United States and spread across the globe in October 2017. In the United States, over 300, this is the outcome I would like to underline. It happened in the United States, but in other places it is less impactful, but things are coming up that are very, very promising. Now, as I was telling you, over 300 public figures had to donate millions of dollars following the Harvey Weinstein scandal, and Time's Up Fund was created, wherein any woman coming from lower service situations can apply as a victim of sexual harassment and can ask for legal support free of cost. Now, coming to India, we had several cases also in the film space and also in the media space. I would like to highlight 2 to 3 cases and then ask our expert panelists to deliberate on that. The first case was that of Bollywood actress Tanushree Datta, who spoke out against her co-actor way back in 2008. Now, this was Nana Patekar, someone whom we all really adore for his talent. But this was the person who was, actually accused in the case. And Tanushree went ahead and filed a case. It took him 10 years, it took her, 10 years to have justice. And in 2018, justice ultimately came. Now, talking about the media space in India, several such voices now can be heard. And this is the famous verdict that came out very recently, against M.J. Akbar, the notable journalist, minister, and editor of so many reputed journals. Now, this lady journalist, Priya Ramani, actually raised her voice. And very recently, after 20 years, she got justice. And the judge ruled that a woman cannot be punished for raising her voice against sexual abuse. Now, following Ms. Ramani's, complaint, we found several such journalists came out who also got harassed by M.J. Akbar. Okay, I think till date it is 9 more women who joined the race to get, compensation, to get justice for such behavior. So these movements did smash down centuries of patriarchy. There is no doubt about it. Me Too started as a protest against sexual harassment in the workplace, but it sheds light also on the underlying problem that was fundamental, the lack of power that women have had historically. It exposed a flaw at the heart of all societies and compelled both the genders to change their mindsets. Now, I would ask Smita ma'am to highlight on this case studies and take the dialogue forward. Thank you so much. Thank you all the panelists. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Chakravarti. Before I begin speaking, I must thank the Vice Chancellor of Amity University and of course the Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Amit Jain, who was kind enough, despite his schedule, to grace the occasion and be with us, and of course speak to us about the corporate world and how women are faring in that corporate world. And I must thank my co-speaker, Dr. Anita Nair, and of course Professor Deepa Chakravarti and Pallavi Mishra for including me in this discussion, which is very close to my heart and a topic on which I generally enjoy investigating and talking about. So, women at the workplace. Now, before I begin, I'd like to begin at a very theoretical and a philosophical level and ask all of us present here this question, that why do we have this binary of workplace versus any other space, or workplace versus domestic space? I mean, a woman is a human being just like any other gender. And a woman anywhere and in any space has the right to live a life of dignity and equality. However, when we do divide these spaces, we do it more from the point of view of study and research. When we are collecting data, it becomes easier if we make some categories and stick to those categories, because generalizations, if they are very wide, they are far-flung, and then it's difficult to collect data and statistics. Now, we must understand that women constitute a labor force. They contribute to the economy of the home and the country. Even if they are homemakers, they are performing certain labor at home for which nobody is paid. And in that manner, they contribute to the economy of the home. Recently, I think just 2 or 3 days ago, there was a BBC News broadcast. And in that I heard that in China, a Chinese court had ruled during a divorce litigation that a wife should be compensated for the housework, should be financially compensated for the housework and the domestic work that she has put into the marriage, or that she has put into the years of marriage. So in this particular case, I think it was 7 years. And the Chinese court judge says that you pay her for the 7 years that she's been in this marriage and done the work to keep this marriage going. Now, in my opinion, whether this judgment is upheld by the other higher courts in China or not, it doesn't matter. The importance of this judgment in the Chinese lower court is that whether it is upheld or whether it is trashed, it raises an important awareness regarding the value of woman's work or women's work. Once we recognize the value of women's work, all spaces that women inhabit must be an environment of self-confidence and safety for them. If there are laws to protect women from inequity and violence inside the domestic space, so should it be for the woman in the workspace. And be that as it may, we do have very strong and stringent laws to protect women from any sort of indignity in the workspace. I think, as Professor Deepa had told me, I am addressing young people who are going to step out into the world and begin their professional lives, begin their professional careers. So you need to be educated. You need to be aware of your rights and entitlements. Professor Deepa Chakravarti has already told us and shown us how, historically she has shown us how in India, slowly due to the crimes that were committed against women, some very strong laws and litigations were passed, like the Vishaka Guidelines and the Sexual Harassment Act, which protect the rights of women in the workplace. So young people, just as you are aware of your rights, you also need to be aware of the fact how you may unwisely, unwittingly, and in a careless manner, in the exuberance of your youth, misuse these huge rights, these huge privileges that you have been granted with. If you have a freedom, if you have an entitlement, if you have a legal right, then it is both a boon and a bane, because you can use it well or you can misuse it as a curse. So I will also discuss how we, if we are not vigilant, if we are not careful, we may lose our self-respect by misusing something which has been given to us. In the world, all over the world, we are seeing that despite there being strong laws protecting women in the workspace, all is not well. Even in the Anglophone countries, even in the European countries, all is not well as far as women go. Every now and again, there is a Me Too movement that rips the fabric of social complacency or social equanimity. Laws protecting women from any kind of harassment at the workplace are becoming more stringent, they are becoming more strict, and therefore they are becoming more efficient. Even the policing mechanism is becoming more efficient the world over. This is a great victory for us. It has not come on its own. It has come because women have consistently fought for it. So this is a great victory for the women's movement. It is a great achievement for women. In India, we have the Vishaka Guidelines and the Prevention of the Sexual Harassment at the Workplace Act of 2013. Both these grant an enormous heft to the power of the woman. So now our word against a man has become very powerful. But just as we can use the word to do right, we can also use this word to do damage, to perform a grievous harm if we are not vigilant. And herein comes an ethical and a moral dilemma associated with all forms of power. With all forms of power. What may be the good use of this power and what may constitute the misuse of this power. A few years ago, when I was the director of the Women's Studies Center of the University of Allahabad, we conducted a survey on the Dowry Prevention Act. The researchers interviewed many lawyers who opened our eyes to the misuse of the Dowry Protection Act by cunning, evil, and wily village people. You know, Allahabad has a big district court as well as a huge high court. One of the biggest high courts in Asia is the High Court of Judicature in Allahabad. So the researchers went to most lawyers in the district court as well as the high court who were dealing with criminal cases that came under the Dowry Prohibition Act. And the lawyers opened their eyes and they said, they opened their eyes to the misuse of this act by the wily villagers. It was shocking to discover that in the legal profession, there seemed to be little empathy, little sympathy for the victimized young girls. Why? These girls, their age being very young, you know, in Uttar Pradesh, they marry off girls, even, you know, 11-year-old girls, 12-year-old girls, 13-year-old, very young girls are being married off. So their age being very young and these girls being almost illiterate. At the most, they know how to write their name, you know. These girls being almost illiterate, cunning relatives would make the girls file false claims in order to extract money from the groom's family. So many lawyers said that we researchers, we lived in some kind of a false world. We lived in a very idealistic world where, you know, we were studying kitabi knowledge. We had just bookish knowledge. And we were studying all those things and we were not connected, or we were, you know, divorced from grassroots reality, which these lawyers were facing every day. So they said that we were living in an idealistic world, believing in a woman's vulnerability and essentially in the innocence and the good moral character of a woman. And they used harsh language in Hindi to describe that the girls were also very cunning, the families were also very cunning, they prevailed upon the girls and misused the Dowry Prevention Act. They swore that the reality was the opposite and that it was very grim and it had far-reaching consequences for the Dowry Prevention Act. And that this act was being majorly misused in the rural areas of Uttar Pradesh. So you see, the gross misuse of legal rights and entitlements is a grim reality we students and researchers have to open our eyes to. Not everything is hunky-dory. Not everything is good and clean. We have to open our eyes to this and be ready to face the misuse also. So is it with the Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act also. I have been an external member of many internal complaints committee. You know, Deepa ma'am showed the slide where every organization has to have an internal complaints committee in place so that women can come and register their complaints of harassment to that committee. So I have been an external member. So what happens, the formation of the committee is that most of the members are there from that institution, but you have to have external members outside of the institution also in that committee. So I have been a member, external member of many of these committees. Most of the members of such committees are in-house. They belong to that institution itself. And they tend to gang up. And they become united. And they become rigid in their views, unwilling to listen to the observations, to the more objective observations of the external member. You see, the external member knows nothing of the history of the complainant or the defendant in that organization. So the external member also has an objective view, but the internal members who belong to that organization, they already have a grapevine going around. They already have a mindset which has been influenced. That no, this person is like this person is like that. He must have done this or she must have done this. So they already have a pre-formed opinion. And I think this weakens the internal complaints committee. And, you know, I will take this platform to address anyone who is listening that maybe the internal complaints committee should have more external members for objectivity in judging a case. So just as I was saying, the shared histories of the internal members, the complainant and the defendant, tend to maybe unwittingly create a web of collusion. They don't want to do it, but it happens to them because they have their preconceptions regarding the person who has been complained against and also the person who has complained. They have their preconceptions. So they create, unwittingly, they create a web of collusion, sometimes resulting in a very harsh action against the suspect. Believe you me, I have heard men plead, "Madam, my life is in her hands. Madam, her word can destroy my entire life and career." This is the power of a woman's word under the Sexual Harassment at the Workplace Act 2013. This is the power which we must learn to use wisely, not to take undue advantage of. This misuse by women of a hard-won power is something all students and researchers have to be open to. They have to be aware and vigilant about the misuse of this power. Women, no matter how weak or how powerful, they are after all human beings. And they have the same human weaknesses. They are not goddesses. It's only in, saying, in mythological saying that we are goddesses. Otherwise, we are as human as any other gender. And we will have the same weaknesses. We will have the same frailties. Misusing our rights and entitlements to settle personal scores is a strong possibility, and this aspect must be examined thoroughly when passing judgment in a sexual harassment at the workplace matter. Now let us look at another case. It's a recent case, 2020 case, where the Madras High Court passed a judgment condemning a sexual harassment complainant, a woman who complained. The judgment condemned the complainant for misusing her rights. In February 2020, the Madras High Court observed that a solitary allegation of intemperate language, that a solitary allegation of intemperate language against a woman employee does not constitute an offense under the sexual harassment law, and the act cannot be misused. It cannot be misused with exaggerated or non-existent charges. The court granted relief to a senior central government male officer who was accused of sexual harassment by a woman officer. The court said that an administrative head, a head of the department, a head of the university, an administrative head, a CEO, has every right to extract work. In a nutshell and in simple language, what had happened here? There was an administrative head and there was his female colleague / employee. Now this is a lazy woman who is not doing her work. And if the boss scolds her, she goes and files a sexual harassment complaint saying that he has used intemperate language which has damaged my self-respect and my dignity. The court allowed the petition by V. Natarajan, Deputy Registrar of Trademarks and GI, against R. Hemlata, and quashed the orders of the Central Administrative Tribunal and the District Local Complaints Committee. The court observed women employees cannot be allowed to go scot-free without completing their assignments. Just because you are lazy doesn't mean that your boss cannot put you on the mat. And if he does, you can't go just like that and file a sexual harassment complaint against him. The woman officer had accused her senior of high-handed and arrogant behavior, causing hurt to her self-respect. And she was so vindictive, she was so insistent that she filed a complaint in the Internal Complaints Committee, and then she wrote to the Tamil Nadu State Commission for Women. She kept on filing complaints in whichever forum was available to her. Eventually, the court decided that scolding a lax or a lazy woman employee is not sexual harassment. And you see the load or the strain, the stress on the man. The original case was filed in December 2013 and it went on to 2020. 7 years that man went through quite a stressful time. Why I have highlighted this case is that because in academic institutions like ours, in our universities, we have a teacher-taught equilibrium. You have a teacher, that teacher can be a male. You can be a student, you can have a female teacher, and you can be a male student. So we have a teacher-taught equilibrium, which is always in a delicate balance. Deepa ji told me that your Amity has PhD students also. So while we know that in academic institutions, there are cases rampant of research supervisors tormenting and harassing students of all genders, there are also cases of young women or young men. There are also cases of young women with bruised egos, falsely implicating their supervisors under the Sexual Harassment at the Workplace Act. I have seen this in my university. Yes, this happens more in the science faculty, you know, where you have experiments to perform and you are spending long hours in the lab with your research supervisor. And if the supervisor is scolding you or pushing you to complete your work on time or whatever, and you are a young girl in your 20s, you're 21, 22, 23, so your ego is also very fragile, and you get angry about something and you just go and file a sexual harassment complaint. So those of us teachers, who orient, who direct young ladies and young men regarding the behavior they must expect and meet out at the workplace, we have to take our responsibility in all earnestness and seriousness. Just as when speaking about bad touch, we do not want to diminish the value of good touch. Just because there is bad touch in sexual harassment, it doesn't mean that there cannot be a good touch from a teacher, that it cannot be a good touch from a male teacher also. I mean, now have we made touch so bad that no male teacher will be actually able to, you know, just hold a female student's hand and say, oh my, I'm so happy with you. You worked so hard on this experiment, or you worked so hard on this paper. So just as we have good touch, we cannot diminish the value of good touch. Similarly, when detailing the types of harassment women may face at the workplace, we must not fail to simultaneously sensitize them about the misuse of their immense power. Remember, there are always two sides to a coin. There is an eye that sees. Likewise, there is an eye that can get blinded by anger, by ego, and that may refuse to see. So I would like to end with this, that just as we have the powers of entitlement, we have the power to destroy also. It is, speaking from the point of view of women, we have made great strides, yet we are the second sex. We have to make great strides further on. Our issues are not over. Our war is not over. Nowhere in the world have we obtained equality. We have not. So the struggle is still on. The movement is still on. Yet, as we are gaining a whole space for ourselves, as we are gaining power, we must not become asur, we must not become demon, and we must not lose our moral compass. We must always look at things objectively and not misuse this power to gain personal victory or to satisfy our personal vendetta. After all, women the world over are known for their empathy and their compassion. So if we treat our entitlements with respect and we look at everything with compassion, we will ourselves learn how to use our immense powers with dignity and grace. Thank you so much for inviting me, for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Over to Deepa, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think this is a point that is extremely important that ma'am has made, that yes, having power is good, but abusing power is not good. We should not abuse. We should be morally correct. We should be compassionate beings, and we should behave ethically. That is very, very important. So with that, we will have our final panelist, madam, to give her views on the topic, women at workplace. Madam Anita Nayarji.
Yeah,
जी,
she's there.
थैंक्स फॉर कॉलिंग मी मैम। सबसे पहले तो मैं बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहती हूँ प्रोफेसर जैन साहब का, प्रोफेसर दीपा चक्रवर्ती मैम का, प्रोफेसर पारुल मिश्रा का, और मोहन कछवाहा जी, चुलबुल गर्ग जी का, और प्रोफेसर स्मिता अग्रवाल मैम का। उन आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और मैम मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि अमेठी यूनिवर्सिटी ने जो मुझे यहाँ बुलाया है और इतना अच्छा मौका दिया है आप सब विद्वानों को सुनने का, तो बहुत बेहतरीन अनुभवों के साथ मैं अपनी बात शुरू करना चाहती हूँ। तो आपकी इजाज़त है तो मैं शुरू करती हूँ।
प्लीज मैम।
मैम मैं एक छोटा सा प्रेजेंटेशन भी साथ लेकर के आई हूँ, 2-4 स्लाइड्स हैं, तो वो भी मैं आपसे स्क्रीन शेयर करना चाहूँगी।
बिल्कुल मैम, बिल्कुल।
चूँकि हमारे पास समय बहुत कम है तो मैं अपनी बात भी कहती चलूँ। आप सबने बहुत पुराना एक श्लोक सुना होगा, यत्र नार्यस्तु पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवता, यत्र तु न पूज्यन्ते सर्वा तत्र अफला क्रिया। यानी तमाम चीज़ें जो हैं वो बिगड़ जाती हैं और तमाम केमिस्ट्री जो है वो बिगड़ जाती है। किस तरह से? क्योंकि स्त्री और पुरुष के जो साथ मिलकर चलने से जो भी मंजिलें आसान होती हैं वो तमाम चीज़ें मुश्किल हो जाती हैं। बहरहाल ये जो श्लोक है इसी के प्रकाश में मैं एक बात जो सच्चाई है वो आपसे शेयर करना चाहती हूँ कि एनसीआरबी के आंकड़ों के अनुसार हम बहुत हैरान और परेशान हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि 2007 से 2016 के बीच 83% महिलाओं के खिलाफ अपराधों का इजाफा होता है। और इसी के अलावा 2018 के थॉमसन राइटर्स फाउंडेशन ने ये माना अपने पूरे सर्वे के दौरान कि भारत को महिलाओं के खिलाफ सबसे असुरक्षित स्थान के रूप में उन्होंने चिन्हित किया है। बहरहाल अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि साइलेंस इज नो क्योर फॉर स्टॉकिंग, सो स्पीक अप। हम लोग बहुत सालों से ये सुनते आए हैं कि चुप रहो, शांत रहो, सहते रहो। वो तमाम चीज़ें छोड़ करके अगर हम देखते हैं तो 10 में से 8 जो स्त्रियां हैं वो हमेशा किसी न किसी रूप में, चाहे वो न्यूसेंस क्रिएट करने वाली चीज़ों से हो, नॉनसेंस कॉल्स से हो या हैरेसमेंट से हो, परेशान की जाती रही हैं। और जबकि पुलिस में रिपोर्ट अगर दर्ज कराने का आंकड़ा हम देखते हैं तो सिर्फ और सिर्फ 10% यानी 10% जो है वो कंप्लेंट्स रजिस्टर की जाती हैं। बहरहाल ये बहुत लंबा चौड़ा आंकड़ा है, मैं उस पर नहीं जाऊंगी। मेरे से मुझसे पूर्व जिन विद्वानों ने, विदुषियों ने बात की है, उन्होंने तमाम चीज़ों को आप सबके समक्ष रख दिया है। और स्मिता मैम ने जैसे कई सारी केस स्टडीज़ के माध्यम से भी चर्चा की, और हमने देखा दीपा मैम ने भी बहुत सारी जो वर्तमान में चल रही स्थितियां हैं उन सब के बरक्स, उन सब के प्रकाश से भी आपको रूबरू कराया। तो चूँकि मुझे ये लगता है कि जो मैं जिन बच्चों से मुखातिब हूँ वो तमाम जो युवा छात्र और छात्राएं हैं, उन सब की मानसिकता बदलने की बात बेहद ज़रूरी है। क्योंकि एक शेर से मैं अपनी बात को पुख्ता करती हूँ, तालीम का शोर इतना, तहजीब की बात इतनी, बरकत जो नहीं होती नियत की खराबी है। तो दोस्तों, एक नियत जो है हमारे समाज में जो बिगड़ती चली गई, जिसकी वजह से ये तमाम अपराध जो है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बढ़ते गए हैं, तो उसको सुधारने की बेहद ज़रूरत है। और जैसा कि विशाखा गाइडलाइन की और इन तमाम चीज़ों की मैम ने चर्चा की, तो उससे पहले का अगर सिनेरियो में उठा करके देखती हूँ तो कार्यस्थल पर जो यौन उत्पीड़न की शिकायतें जो होती थी वो आईपीसी की धारा 354 के तहत या फिर किसी औरत के सम्मान को चोट पहुंचाने वाली हरकत जो 509 के तहत दर्ज की जाती थी। अब ये तमाम चीज़ें तो हम देखते हैं, लेकिन कानून बहुत पहले से बने हैं, सरकार की तरफ से बहुत से प्रयास किए गए हैं महिलाओं को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए। लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये जो प्रयास हैं, चाहे वो बहुत सारे प्रयास महिलाओं को सशक्त बनाने के लिए किए गए हैं, उन तमाम प्रयासों में आप सब बखूबी जानते हैं कि महिलाओं को किस तरह से सती प्रथा या भ्रूण हत्या से संबंधित कानून है, दहेज है, उन सब कानूनों के भी बहुत सारे और भी कहना चाहिए कि बहुत सारे तरीके हैं जिनसे कि महिलाओं को सशक्त बनाने की कोशिश लगातार जारी रही है सरकार की तरफ से। अब इसमें हम अगर हवाला मैं आपको देना चाहूँगी उसका, कि 1993 में बना हुआ जो राष्ट्रीय महिला कोष है, जिसमें कि धन की वजह से स्त्रियों को कहीं ऐसा अत्याचार न सहना पड़े, तो वो सहायता भी सरकार की तरफ से प्रारंभ किया गया। इसके अलावा बहुत से 2002 में बना हुआ जो सामाजिक सुरक्षा के लिए बने हुए कानून हैं, जिसमें स्वाधार योजना है, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ है, पोषण अभियान है, प्रधानमंत्री उज्ज्वला योजना है या मातृवंदना योजना है, महिला हाट योजना है, या इस तरह के तमाम जो सरकारी नौकरियों में जो स्त्रियों के को सशक्त बनाने के लिए या उनके मातृत्व को और उनको सुरक्षित करने के लिए, चाहे वो मैटरनिटी लीव का एक्सटेंशन हो 6 मंथ्स का, या चाइल्ड केयर लीव के माध्यम से उन्हें अपने बच्चों के लिए, क्योंकि एक बहुत बड़ी सच्चाई है कि सृष्टि में स्त्री ही जो है वो उसको सृष्टि को बनाने के लिए अपनी संतान के माध्यम से आगे आने वाली पीढ़ियों को भी सशक्त करती है। तो उस दृष्टि से स्त्री को सशक्त करने के लिए इन तमाम चीज़ों की भी हमारे यहाँ पर सरकार के द्वारा व्यवस्था की गई है। अब हम जो देखते हैं कि इन तमाम चीज़ों के बावजूद भी आप देखेंगे कि जो स्त्री के प्रति जो अत्याचार है, अनाचार है, वो निरंतर बढ़ते चले जा रहे हैं। तो क्या मित्रों, आपको ऐसा नहीं लगता कि इन बैसाखियों के या इन सारे कानूनों के दोनों पक्षों की चर्चा हुई है, कानूनों का जो मिसयूज होता है उसकी भी चर्चा हुई है। मैं थोड़ा सा विशाखा गाइडलाइन पर एक बार फिर से जाना चाहती हूँ, हालांकि मेरी विदुषी साथियों ने उनके बारे में बहुत विस्तार से चर्चा की है। मैं आपको ज़रा उससे संबंधित जो चीज़ है वो बताना ये चाहती हूँ कि विशाखा गाइडलाइन जो 1997 में आई, जिसकी चर्चा हमें दीपा मैम ने बहुत विस्तार से की है हमारे साथ में, लेकिन मित्रों एक बहुत गर्व का विषय ये है कि जयपुर से सिर्फ और सिर्फ 60 किलोमीटर दूर भटेरी गांव की एक साधारण सी अशिक्षित महिला जो है वो भंवरी देवी, जिनकी चर्चा उन्होंने की कि उनके उन तमाम प्रयासों के बावजूद और उनका छोटा सा अपराध ये था कि बाल विवाह को रोकने के लिए उन्होंने अपनी पूरी ताकत लगाने की कोशिश की साथिन के माध्यम से। जिस एनजीओ के साथ वो जुड़ी हुई थी और जिस कार्य को वो कर रही थी, वो साथिन के रूप में उन्होंने उसको बहुत पूरी ताकत और पूरी मशक्कत के साथ किया है। अब कहना चाहिए कि विशाखा गाइडलाइन चूंकि उनके प्रयासों का प्रतिफलन है और इस फैसले में 1992 से शुरू हुई ये जो जद्दोजहद है वो 1997 में पूरी हो जाती है, इस रूप में कि यौन उत्पीड़न और संविधान में निहित मौलिक अधिकारों, जिसमें कि अनुच्छेद 14, 15 और 21 का उल्लंघन निहित है, और इसके साथ ही कुछ मामलों में स्वतंत्रता के अधिकार 19(1)G के उल्लंघन के तहत माना जाता है। और उस वक्त सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्देश जारी करते हुए यौन उत्पीड़न को कुछ परिभाषित किया गया और उसकी पूरी चर्चा आपसे दीपा मैम कर चुकी हैं, इसलिए मैं पृष्ठपेशन नहीं करूंगी, दोबारा से उसे नहीं उठाऊंगी। लेकिन मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि इस पूरी जद्दोजहद का प्रतिफलन जब विशाखा गाइडलाइन के माध्यम से हमारे समक्ष आता है, और उसके बाद में जैसा कि मैम ने भी चर्चा की थी कि ICC जो है इंटरनल कंप्लेंट कमेटी बनती है, जिसमें कि एक अब उस संस्था के भीतर की कमेटी है जिसमें बाहर के लोग भी जुड़े हुए होते हैं, और उसके अभाव में यानी 10 से कम लोग होने पर जो LCC बनती है, लोकल कंप्लेंट कमेटी है, जो सरकारी स्तर पर जिसका निर्माण होता है, और हर 3 साल में कमेटी बदलती जाती है, जिसमें कि 90 दिनों के भीतर इनको सोल्यूशन देना होता है और अन्यथा कोर्ट में केस दायर कर दिया जाता है। अब ये बहुत बड़ी बात थी कि इस कमेटी के भीतर जो है 50% महिलाएं ही होनी चाहिए और कमेटी की जो चेयरपर्सन है वो भी फीमेल ही होती है, और जो आउटर मेंबर्स हैं उनके रूप में साइकेट्रिस्ट हैं या फिर लॉयर्स हैं या फिर ऐसे लोग जो NGOs से जुड़े हुए हैं जिन्हें कि स्त्री से संबंधित इशुओं पर कार्य करने का एक बड़ा अनुभव होना चाहिए। तो बहरहाल ये तमाम चीज़ें सरकारी प्रयासों के रूप में हमारे समक्ष आईं, लेकिन सबसे बड़ा जो एक टर्निंग पॉइंट हुआ वो 2012 में निर्भया केस के बाद सरकार ने जो है वो 2013 में ये जो एक्ट लेकर के आए, द सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट ऑफ विमेन एट वर्क प्लेस 2013 एक्ट, प्रिवेंशन, प्रोटेक्शन एंड रिड्रेसल बनाया गया, जिसकी चर्चा आपसे बहुत विस्तार से मेरे दोनों पूर्वविदुषी साथियों ने कर दिया है। मैं बहुत विस्तार में उस रूप में नहीं जाऊंगी, लेकिन एक बहुत एक अच्छा प्रयास जो मुझे लगता है कि सरकार के द्वारा, भारत सरकार के द्वारा हुआ, जिसकी चर्चा हमने नहीं की है, मैं उस पर आना चाहती हूँ। एक स्लाइड जो इसी एक्ट पर है वो आपसे चर्चा की जा चुकी है। तो मैं उस जो भारत सरकार का जो उपक्रम है और एक मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ विमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट है, उसके तहत एक पोर्टल बनाया गया और जिसे कि उस पोर्टल को नवंबर 2017 में बनाया और उस पोर्टल का नाम भी शी बॉक्स के नाम से उसे जाना जाता है। और बहुत अच्छी बात यह है कि इस शी बॉक्स यानी सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बॉक्स ये जो है, इसके तहत एक ऑनलाइन कंप्लेन मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम की जो है संस्थापना वो भारत सरकार के द्वारा की जाती है और इसमें सरकारी स्तर पर भी इस तरह के प्रयास होते हैं और जो कंप्लेंट शिकायतकर्ता जो है उसे एक अपने ईमेल के माध्यम से वहाँ अपनी शिकायत दर्ज करानी पड़ती है और ये तमाम प्रक्रियाएं उसके द्वारा चलती हैं। तो ये सब भारत सरकार का एक वाइटल सिग्निफिकेंट प्रयास हम मान सकते हैं। लेकिन इन तमाम चीज़ों के साथ देखिए बहुत बड़ी बात है, ये सारी चीज़ें आपके सहयोग में हैं, आपके लिए ताकत बन करके सामने आती हैं, लेकिन जब तक आप खुद को ताकतवर नहीं मानते हैं, वो एक शेर है ना, खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर के पहले खुदा खुद बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है। तो हमारी रजा अगर हमें चाहिए तो उसके लिए प्रयास तो हमें खुद ही को करने होंगे। इसलिए दोस्तों सबसे बड़ी मेरी आप सबसे गुजारिश यही है, और जैसा कि हमें स्मिता मैम ने भी कहा कि इन तमाम कानूनों को, इन तमाम जो हमारे सहारे के लिए बने हुए हैं, उन सब का हम बखूबी पूरी अच्छी मानसिकता के साथ, देखिए तमाम चीज़ों के साथ में सबसे ज़रूरी है कि आपकी मानसिकता जो है वो सही होनी चाहिए। और जैसा कि मैम ने बहुत विस्तार से बात बताई कि एक स्पर्श जो है वो ऐसा नहीं है, टीचर एक गुरु आपके लिए पिता समान है, अगर उसका स्पर्श आपके लिए प्रसन्नता सूचक है तो आपको उसको डिफ्रेंशिएट करना आना चाहिए। और मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि स्त्री के पास उस परमपिता परमात्मा की दी हुई ताकत है कि उसकी एक छठी इंद्रिय होती है जिसके माध्यम से उसे पता चल जाता है कि सामने वाला किस इंटेंशन से उसे देख रहा है, किस इरादे से उसे छू रहा है। ये तमाम चीज़ें हमारे भीतर हैं। और एक छोटी सी बात मुझे लगता है कि बच्चियों को अपने आप में पूरा कॉन्फिडेंस और पूरे उसके साथ ना केवल अभिभावकों को बल्कि समाज को उन्हें ताकत देनी चाहिए। सरकारी स्तर पर और भी प्रयास हो सकते हैं, जैसे कि अगर मैं चर्चा करूं तो रमांडा और में एक जेंडर मॉनिटरिंग सेल बनाया गया सरकारी स्तर पर जो जिलेवार काम करता है, या फिनलैंड में जेंडर इक्वालिटी यूनिट बनी हुई है जो कि सरकारी स्तर पर ही बनती है और इस तरह की हरकतों पर नज़र रखती है। लेकिन ये सब तो बैसाखियां हैं। मेरा मानना ये है हम खुद को जब ताकतवर बना देते हैं और तो हमें फिर किसी बाहरी उसकी ज़रूरत भी शायद नहीं पड़ती है। बच्चियों को अपनी सुरक्षा के लिए भी प्रयास कुछ ऐसी चीज़ों की तरफ भी जाना चाहिए। और दूसरी बात मुझे लगता है कि सामाजिक स्तर पर आवश्यकता है कि हम बच्चियों को बच्चों के बराबर सक्षम बनाएं और उसके साथ ही साथ जितनी भी माताएं हैं जिनके अपने बेटे हैं वो बेटियों को ताकतवर बनाएं और बेटों को समझदार और संवेदनशील बनाने की कोशिश करें। उन बेटों को ये बात पता होनी चाहिए कि स्त्री जो है वो उनके लिए सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक ही रूप में उस भोग्या नहीं है। स्त्री जो है वो ताकतवर है, सृष्टि करता है, सर्जन करता है, उस रूप में भी उसका सम्मान हो, उसे एक सहयोगी की तरह से माने। और दूसरी बात, समाज की तरफ से शोषण के खिलाफ, जो उत्पीड़न के खिलाफ एकजुट होने की आवश्यकता है। जो भंवरी देवी के केस में मैंने जब देखा, पढ़ा, सुना तो उन्होंने कहा कि बहुत कम लोगों ने उन्हें सहयोग दिया, उन्हें समाज ने उन्हें बिल्कुल उनका हुक्का पानी बंद करके उन्हें अलग थलग कर दिया था। तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, हमें अपनी मानसिकता बदलने की बेहद ज़रूरत है। और सबसे बड़ी बात मुझे लगता है कि अगर मेक इन इंडिया के लिए स्त्री और पुरुष दोनों कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर के समान सोच के साथ आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे तो समावेशी विकास की कल्पना भी संभव ना हो पाएगी। और इसीलिए शायद जयशंकर प्रसाद जी बहुत पहले कह चुके हैं, नारी तुम श्रद्धा हो विश्वास रजत नभ पगतल में, पीयूष स्रोत सी बहा करो जीवन के सुंदर समतल में। तो दोस्तों मैं बहुत ज़्यादा समय आपका नहीं लेना चाहूँगी, बस एक अंतिम स्लाइड से मैं अपनी बात समाप्त करना चाहती हूँ। एक स्लाइड और अंतिम मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी। एक बात मैं आपसे और शेयर करना चाहती हूँ कि बुनियादी चीज़ों का बदलाव करके हम अपनी स्थितियों को बदल सकते हैं, और जो लक्ष्य है हमारा वो सिर्फ राजनीतिक गलियारों में या आर्थिक परिदृश्य में अपने आप को ताकतवर बनाना नहीं है, बल्कि ज़िंदगी के हर मोड़ पर हमें ताकतवर बनकर के सामने आना है। और मनु को संबोधित करते हुए जब जयशंकर प्रसाद जी ने लिखा था कि मनु तुम भूल गए पुरुषत्व मोह में, मनु तुम भूल गए पुरुषत्व मोह में, सत्ता है कुछ नारी की, समरसता ही संबंध बनी अधिकार और अधिकारी की। इसलिए आत्मविश्वास से लबरेज महिला के बिना राष्ट्र का सर्वांगीण विकास नहीं हो सकता है। मेरा एक अपना शेर है, मैं आपकी नज़र करना चाहती हूँ। मुझे मालिक की नहीं हम नवा की ख्वाहिश है, चल सको तो चलो साथ मेरे हम सफ़र बनकर। और अंत में, सदियों से बनकर दिए की बाती जलकर खुद देती उजियारा, मशाल बन अब जीना सीखो रोशन हो संसार हमारा। यही गुजारिश है तमाम महिलाओं से और तमाम पुरुषों से कि वो सहयोग करके हमें आगे बढ़ने का मौका देते रहें। नमस्कार।
Namaskar, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your deliberation. We will go to the interactive session now. And Dr. Parul, you can take the questions, and because we are having less time now.
Yeah, chat box, ma'am, we are not having any questions. Students have asked through WhatsApp. So there's a question from a student. She's asking if you feel that women are misusing their legal rights given to them. Question to Smita ma'am.
Yeah. So you cannot say across the board that women are misusing their legal rights. They are not. Because the overall situation is that women are victimized, are discriminated against, and have to face many types of harassment. So, in a general manner, there is no question of them misusing. But there are always exceptions to the rule, and in some cases, which I have brought up, and which you also may find if you read up, then there are cases of misuse also. But the cases of misuse are very few and far between. I concentrated on them because I was building up an argument. And in order to support my argument, I needed those illustrations or those examples to show how power can be misused also. So generally speaking, no. Women are way behind. There are, despite so many laws made in favor of women, still the world over, they are facing grave threats and discrimination. They need all the backing that they can get. At the same time, there are instances, very few, but there are instances where the powers granted to, the legal powers granted to women are misused.
Yeah, also students, madam wanted to tell you that any power comes with a responsibility. That is also the thing, that just we have a power we will misuse, people will not accept you, right? So that is the reason you have to be, you have to have the owners of that power. Only then you can be a good leader, right? Thank you, Dr. Parul. We can move to the students' performances now. Because In 5 to 10 minutes, we are over. And also, I will ask you to continue with the program because I have to join the other webinar. Okay?
So, ma'am, there's a question for Anita, ma'am, if I can ask.
Yes, but see the time also.
Yeah, just last question. Koisha, student BA English honors, she's asking, I have
I'm
a question.
leaving. Dr. Parul, please carry
How
forward
do
the
you
session.
define harassment?
Harassment.
Yeah.
In Vishakha guideline also we have some had some points, but in my opinion harassment means देखिए कई चीजें हैं कि आपको लगता है सामने वाले की नज़र से आप किसी भी तरह से खुद परेशान हो रहे हैं या आपको किसी भी तरह का असहज स्थिति अनुभव होती है तो वो एक तरह का हरेसमेंट है। वो चाहे नज़र से हो, चाहे छू करके हो, उसकी बातों से हो, कोई इस तरह के कहना चाहिए कि नॉन वेज जोक्स क्रैक करके हो। बहुत सारी ऐसी स्थितियां हैं जिनके माध्यम से आप हैरेसमेंट को डिफाइन कर सकते हैं।
Thank you so much, ma'am. There are other questions also, but I think we have paucity of time, so we'll continue with our students' performance session.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, and please be with us.
Now we can. Aditi Thapa, BA Applied Psychology, SEM 2.
Yeah. So, ma'am, she is a student and she just messaged us that she lost her grandfather, so she's not able to attend the meeting. So, on her behalf, maybe I can read if Koisha is not available. So, the painting is portraying women holding the earth, which signifies a strength and courage. Her one hand flying, portraying the support she has from the nature.
Beautiful. बहुत सुंदर.
Next. So next we have paintings by Kavya Shrimali. She is PhD scholar, and I think she has beauty and feminism. This is what the painting portrays.
Mm-hmm.
I think the black. She's not there. Kavya. Kavya, are you there? No, we cannot wait. So, ma'am, moving to next slide. Nilesh is a PhD scholar of English. So here is the poster made by her. Koisha, if you can read.
You go, girl. Girls can transform lives and communities when given access to education. But today, over 130 million girls remain out of school. Fight for equal education.
Further. Yeah, please, Koisha.
Past job challenges, politics, educational challenges, and present lack of time, unequal sharing of duties in. Ma'am, can you?
Natural and married life, women living indisciplined and less productive life for most of the time. Then future you can read. If it's not visible, fine. Loss of culture and identity as an ideal homemaker, because roles will be the type which even the male figure can play. Lack of education in society, and then solutions, feministic approach of life possible, because most will be educated. So education maybe is the solution in short. Next, please. So this is Arpita Keshav. I cannot see any of your screens anyways. So the next painting is of Arpita Keshav. If Arpita you are there, you can please share your views about your poster.
Hello, good afternoon all. Ma'am, I cannot see my poster now.
Anyways, you know what you've made. You can just share what you aimed at.
Actually, I have sent, but because I have joined with my mobile, so I can't share it now.
Fine, then yeah. Share it again. So ma'am is sharing again. Maybe there's a network issue. Now can you see?
Yeah, this is my. Yes, I can see, ma'am.
Yeah. What made you make this poster?
Actually, I want to first of all, happy Women's Day to all, and most beautiful and hardworking women of Amity and other ma'ams also. I want to say that नारी सर्जनहार भी है, तो नारी is like woman is responsible for destructions also.
Okay.
And I have to say it only two words, that if we are starting to talk about women, that they seems to short, because if we are going to speak about woman and and her contribution, woman is just like ocean. She is very vast. We cannot define her in few words.
Okay.
Because what we are today, just because of a woman who gave us birth and gave us chance to see this beautiful world. I
Okay,
think
thank you.
woman. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Arpita. Yeah. Next, we have poster by Supriya. So, do we have Supriya with us? Okay. So, a queen is not afraid to fail. There's a spelling mistake in destroy. So, ma'am. Yeah. So, and there is a presentation by Sejal Dangi. She is talking about a women champion Hema Das. Sejal, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please continue. I will start, sorry.
Today, we celebrate every woman on the planet. You bring so much love and beauty into our world just being by in it. And it makes everyone a little bit happier. The sun shines brighter when you smile. So keep smiling. International Women's Day is celebrated on 8th March every year to secure the rights and gender disparity and social inequality. Hema Das is an Olympic athlete. She holds the current Indian national record in 400 meters with a timing of 50.79 seconds. She is the first Indian athlete to win a gold medal in a track event at the International Association of Athletic Federation World U20 Championship. She is awarded with Arjuna Award by the President of India on 25 September 2018. Her biggest achievement is she is appointed as a deputy superintendent in Assam for all the women. Mom, please slide change. Next. She is so desperate to what does not belong to them, desperate for a cause. That's I bring her the eye. No, I not need an applaud, just an appreciation. Thank you. Happy Women's Day.
Thank you, Sejal, for a brief presentation. So now, ma'am, we have write-ups. We have self-composed poems and some actual write-ups from the students. Please share the screen. So we have Naman Gulbani. Is Naman present with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are audible. You are visible also. You can start.
Yes, sir. So, good afternoon to all. Happy Women's Day, and I am here to speak about my composition, my poem on the Women's Day. So here I start. Woman, a person who cares, a person with huge responsibility of not only caring the family, but the responsibility to save humanity. That humanity which is created by woman, as humanity lives on the planet called Earth, called Mother Earth. And it is the Mother Earth which creates Earth's environment. And the role of the mother is played by a woman. That role which no one can perform, which signifies the greatness of women. That greatness which shows the efforts and hard work a woman do to spread the feeling of happiness all over the world. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Naman, for your composition. So next we have a poem by Harshita Poswal. She is PhD scholar of Spanish in Amity, and the title is "A Woman Can't Do."
Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, audible and visible also.
Yes, ma'am. So this is a poem about women. So I would like to start. A woman can't do The day when Adam and Eve were created, they were told not to touch the tree of knowledge. But what they say that Eve ate an apple and so changed the future of this world. This world could have been happier and free of greed. Let me ask you, who told you the story and you agreed? And let's assume that this was right. So in that case, she held the power to change the world and make it dark from bright. What happened to goddess Durga? Did she also made a mistake? That is why a women's independence is always at stake. Ma'am, can we scroll down?
Next. Yeah.
No matter how many idols of goddesses we put in our houses, a woman should always be obedient to her father, brother, and spouses. For every wrong thing, she is held responsible, and if some good happens, then it is not possible. She can cook, nurture kids, take care of the family, but she can't take care of herself. She can't protect herself. She needs a man 24 hours to protect her because she is lean, weak, and stupid. But my opinion tends to differ. Why should a woman always suffer? Just a small thing I would like to say, rather than judging her character by her dress, let her live in her own way. If really a woman can't do hard stuff, then try giving birth to a baby. It's really tough. And if even that doesn't change your mind, why not be a little kind? Try doing things she does in a day. You'll feel her importance, let me say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really very motivating. So next we have Garima Joshi. Thank you, Harshita. Garima Joshi is BA Honors French. Second semester. Garima, are you there with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please read. Your Hindi will be judged by ma'am now, Anita ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Written wrong spellings. Please start. Garima. We have very less time.
सुप्रभात, मेरा नाम गरिमा जोशी है और मैं आज महिला दिवस के इस शुभ अवसर पर मैं आपके सामने एक कविता प्रस्तुत करने जा रही हूँ। मेरी कविता का शीर्षक है खुद की खोज। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है, समय को भी तलाश है। जो तुझसे लिपटी बेड़ियां, समझ न इनको वस्त्र तू, जो तुझसे लिपटी बेड़ियां, समझ न इनको वस्त्र तू, ये बेड़ियां पिघाल कर बना ले इनको शस्त्र तू, बना ले इनको शस्त्र तू। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है, समय को भी तलाश है। चरित्र जब पवित्र है तो क्यों है ये दशा तेरी, चरित्र जब पवित्र है तो क्यों है ये दशा तेरी, ये पापियों को हक नहीं कि ले परीक्षा तेरी, कि ले परीक्षा तेरी। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है, समय को भी तलाश है। जला के भस्म कर उसे जो क्रूरता का जाल है, जला के भस्म कर उसे जो क्रूरता का जाल है। तू आरती की लौ नहीं, तू क्रोध की मशाल है, तू क्रोध की मशाल है। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है, समय को भी तलाश है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Thank you, Garima. So next we have Muskan. Muskan is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Please, this is the write-up by you, right? You can introduce yourself and start your write-up.
Good afternoon. My name is Muskan Kumar, and today I am presenting a self-composition on my mother. Mother is a God figure for every child. The God we believe to be on earth is our mother. There is no one else in the universe who can love like a mother and sacrifice almost everything just for the sake of us being happy. She can never be replaced by anyone in our entire life. She is the embodiment of true love, care, and sacrifices. The hard-working, infamous personality serving as a backbone to me, without whom the existence is somewhat impossible, is my mother. My mother is an inspiration for me. She is an amazing woman. She is the woman I admire the most. She works hard for my family and takes care of everyone. She is the one who taught me all the moral lessons and values. Whenever I am wrong in doing anything, she teaches me how to do it right in a calm way. She is the most trusted entity in my life. She is a blessing, the one that is considered as an epitome of selfless love, abounding care, desired sincerity, and much needed truthfulness. These qualities of my mother make me spellbound to extol her greatness. I lack words to describe my mother. She is the kindness itself. After God, she is the most revered and dignified entity to me. I owe everything to her. My life is with her life. May God bestow her long life.
You have more lines.
It's International Women's Day. Today we celebrate every woman on the planet. Our world would mean nothing without women. Their courage that exists in perfect harmony with amazing tenderness saves our world every day. Wishing a very happy Women's Day to strong, intelligent, and simply wonderful women of this world. Don't you ever forget that you are loved and appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Muskan. So next in line we have Manan Kachwa. Manan was there with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. I wish you all a very happy Women's Day.
Thank you, Manan. Thank you. Thank you for helping us also.
No problem. I'm so sorry my camera isn't working due to some
Mayank,
issues.
you're not audible better. If you can put your speaker a bit closer.
Am I audible now, ma'am?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Women, what I say, women have rights to. Well, me as a male, I have rights to vote. I have rights to have a life outside my house. I have the right to receive the education I deserve. A woman with a strong will dares to take a stand against the society to prove that men and women should be equal. Feminism these days is it's a movement that has always stood up for women's rights. It recognizes the idea of individuals are treated differently based on their biological identities, and there still exists a dominance of male gender. They do not want women to get educated because the women would get more powerful, says Malala Yousafzai. I guess we all know who she is, the girl who was shot for going to school. She is the definition of courage, speaking out and rallying for the girls to go to school when Taliban occupation eradicated, and hope for girls' education in their hometown. Shot in the left side of her head by the extremist group, Malala took a bullet. She literally took a bullet for girls' education. As the youngest Nobel Prize winner at age 17 in 2013, Malala is the Pakistani schoolgirl who captured the world's attention, advocating for women's rights. Using her voice to raise against injustice, she spoke for those in similar positions. Filled with the full of hope, I raise my voice not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. We cannot all succeed when half of us are held down. Thank you.
So this is the last poem by, it's a recitation, ma'am, by Shruti Shreya. Shruti, are you there?
Okay, ma'am. लड़कियों की जिंदगी आसान नहीं होती, माँ भाई की लाडली है और है हर फिक्र से अनजान, माँ का सपना और है पिता का अभिमान, पर क्या जानते हैं आप कि नन्ही सी इन परियों की एक दायरे से बाहर कभी उड़ान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की ज़िंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। जन्म लेते ही माँ इनकी शादी के गहने जुटाने लगती है, क्या सही है क्या गलत हर बात पर समझाने लगती हैं। देखो तुम लड़की हो अपना ध्यान रखना, ज़माने का बदलना मुमकिन नहीं इसलिए कपड़ा का खास ख्याल रखना।
मेरी कविता का शीर्षक है लड़कियों की जिंदगी आसान नहीं होती। भाई की लाडली है और है हर फिक्र से अनजान, माँ का सपना और है पिता का अभिमान, पर क्या जानते हैं आप कि नन्ही सी इन परियों की एक दायरे से बाहर कभी उड़ान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। जन्म लेते ही माँ इनके शादी के गहने जुटाने लगती है, क्या सही है क्या गलत हर बात पर समझाने लगती है। देखो तुम लड़की हो, अपना ध्यान रखना, जमाने को बदलना मुमकिन नहीं, इसीलिए कपड़ों का खास ख्याल रखना। सुनो, किसी की बातों में मत आना, और कुछ भी गलत लगे तो सबसे पहले आकर मुझे बताना। जमाने के साथ चलना इन्हें बेशक सिखाया जाता है, पर साथ ही एक दायरा भी समझाया जाता है। खुद की दुनिया में ये खुद ही महफूज नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम, लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। बचपन से ही कभी रूप, कभी रंग तो कभी व्यवहार को लेकर टोकी जाती है। तुम अकेले कैसे करोगी, कहाँ रहोगी, कह कितने अवसरों से रोकी जाती है। कहने को लड़कों के बराबर है आज, पर मौका मिलते ही आंखें इन पे सेकी जाती है। कभी जन्म से पहले तो कभी हवस का शिकार बन फिर कूड़े में फेंकी जाती है। गलतियां कई नजरअंदाज करती है बेशक, पर नजरिए से ये कभी किसी के अनजान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम, लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। एक घर में बचपन बीते और दूसरे में जीवन बिताना पड़ता है। माँ, भाई, बहन, पापा का प्यार मानो एक पल में भुलाना पड़ता है। एक हाथ से कई रिश्ते छूटे और दूसरा हाथ कई रिश्तों के लिए बढ़ाना पड़ता है। कई बार मन मिले ना मिले, पर बेमन ही हर बंधन निभाना पड़ता है। किसी एक शख्स की खातिर ये अपनी पूरी जिंदगी बदल लेती है, फिर भी इनकी उम्र भर अपनी अलग पहचान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम, लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती।
Okay, thank you, Shruti. Thank you for your recitation, and you can credit the poet you've taken.
Yes, ma'am. The poet is Monica Singh.
Monica
Singh.
Okay. Thank you for your recitation. So, ma'am, here we.
Hello, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, who's there? No, Nilesh. Now
Nilesh.
No, Nilesh.
Ma'am, actually, I was not able to join since whole afternoon. I was trying actually.
No, but we did it.
And my teams were not working.
I did your presentation.
Oh, then it's great, ma'am. I don't know.
No, I did it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Pallavi, how long is it going to take now?
Because this last, ma'am, the appreciation now. Please share the appreciation sheet. Yeah. Okay. So, ma'am, only now the motivation is needed. The motivation for students.
Okay, we need to talk about what they presented.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So,
if you can just give a view of glimpse of all the screens.
Yeah.
That'd be easier for us.
So, I will begin by saying that I was very impressed with the hard work and the research that the students did to put up their various presentations to make their slides. Most of them talked about the women's strength, because today is International Women's Day, so they were praising and lauding and celebrating women's strength. I'm afraid I forgot to get the name of this person, but there was a slide on beauty and feminism, and it was celebrating a black.
Yeah, ma'am, she has shared the screen, Chulbul madam. Ma'am, can you see the screen?
No, I can only see Shreya's poem.
You can share it again. She's sharing it again, yeah.
Okay, it was a painting, right?
Yeah, it was a painting.
Yeah, but I can't see it. Yeah, by Kavya Shrimali.
Yeah.
I liked this painting very much because Kavya stepped out of the box, and she celebrated and she talked about and she glorified a dark complexion, which in India is a very brave thing to do, because even though our country being having so many regions and having so many states and having so many different skin colors, so many different languages and cultures, still in India we privilege the white skin. So I think this was very sensible and very perceptive of Kavya to have, shown that people in the West, now you see how many models are black skinned and all that.
Right.
So it was perceptive of her to bring up this issue that the color of the skin doesn't matter. And if you show an interest in the color of the skin, then you are a racist. You're actually trying to support racism.
Right.
Okay. Then would Anita ji like to say something now? Otherwise, I'm talking too much.
No. Yeah, Anita ma'am is also welcome to say.
मैम सबसे पहले तो वो जो पोस्टर था स्टार्टिंग में अर्थ को लेकर के वो बच्ची जो वो मुझे अगर वापस से दिखाएं तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा सा लगा था उसके फिल्म
अदिति थापा दैट वाज।
हाँ, इसमें ये जो उसकी मुद्रा है, एक तो पूरी धरती का बोझ उठा रखा है वो अंगुली पर, और दूसरा वो जो उसकी उड़ान भरने की जो मुद्रा है वो बहुत इंस्पायरिंग है। ऐसा लगता है कि वो मतलब पूरे उसको लेकर के उसका बोझ भी सह करके फिर भी उड़ान भरने के लिए तैयार है बिल्कुल। तो वो बड़ी खूबसूरती से उसने उसको यहाँ पर उकेरा है। मैं अदिति को बहुत बहुत मुबारक देना चाहती हूँ और बहुत अच्छी पेंटिंग है। और पेंटिंग की स्टूडेंट है या नहीं मुझे पता नहीं है, लेकिन बहुत खूबसूरती से उसने उन भावों को, उस कविता को और उस पूरी उस तथ्य को उसमें उकेरा है, तो उसके लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई उसको। इसके अलावा जो कविताएं थी बच्चों की वो भी बहुत इंस्पायरिंग थी। खासकर कुछ बच्चों के मैं नाम भी यहाँ लेना चाहूँगी, जैसे गरिमा है, मुस्कान, मनन, नमन की जो कविता थी वो भी काफ़ी अच्छा लगा अलग हट करके। और एक बच्ची ने अपनी माँ को लेकर के जो लिखा था वो भी मुझे बहुत इंस्पायर, मैं नाम भूल रही हूँ उस बच्ची का। बहरहाल कुल मिलाकर के जैसा कि स्मिता मैम ने कहा, सभी बच्चों के जो एफर्ट्स थे वो बहुत ही खूबसूरती के साथ उन्होंने अपने, किसी ने कागज़ पर पेंटिंग के माध्यम से, कलर्स के माध्यम से, तो किसी ने शब्दों के माध्यम से उकेरा है। तो मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि अमेठी यूनिवर्सिटी बच्चों का जो ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट होना चाहिए उसकी दिशा में बहुत तेज़ी से अग्रसर है। तो बहुत बहुत बधाई है बच्चों के लिए भी और टीचर्स के लिए भी। और एक शेर आप सबकी नज़र है बच्चों के लिए, परों को तौल उड़ानों का हौसला लेकर। ये जो हौसला है आप सबके मन के भीतर वो कभी कमज़ोर नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, इसलिए परों को तौल उड़ानों का हौसला लेकर ये आसमां तेरी रह गुज़र में है। बहुत बहुत मुबारक आप सबको, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Smita ma'am. Thank you, Anita ma'am. I'm really honored that
before we leave, I would also like to mention Harshita's poem. There was a poem on Tree of Knowledge. I enjoyed that very much because I saw the effort that she had put in to have rhyme and meter in the poem, and the form and content of the poem came together very well to discuss women's vulnerability. So congratulations to Harshita. And as Anita ma'am said, it shows that Amity takes a deep interest in the overall cultural and artistic development of students other than their academic development. And I congratulate you for your effort. I enjoyed being here with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks from Deepa ma'am's side also, because she got busy, so apologies from her side, and plus very big thanks to you, ma'am.